Today I'm joined by husband and wife team Vadim and Zhanelya. Together they run a business called Photoportrayal. Vadim is a fine art still life photographer who creates limited edition prints using light painting techniques. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
It's really good to have you here. Now, obviously I've been on your website. This is a very, I think a very unique product that you're selling. So could you just tell us a little bit more about how you started and how you turned this, how you got started with this as a, I guess, as a product, and how you turned it into a business?
Yeah, sure. Well, the company itself was founded on 2005, 2009, sorry. Yeah, that was just my ideas from 2005. And on 2009, it was originally like launched. So the whole my life, I was interested in a still life. And actually I started as a painter at the beginning. I was studying as a painter, and later I kind of converted it to the photography. So I am using the techniques and the kind of the ideas from the painting to the photography. So, and that's actually what you've seen on a website. That's what actually the result of this. Yeah.
Because some of them, you're looking at them and you're actually sort of questioning, is that a photo or is that a painting? They are, yeah. It's just fascinating when you're looking at them, isn't it? So,
yeah,
sorry?
Yeah, that's true. So many people in the past asked us, is it a painting? Some of it is a drawing.
Yeah.
Some of it couldn't realize that it is actually a photograph.
Yeah, yeah. So, how did you come into this? Because the sort of the lighting, the fact that you obviously you said you use the lighting to create these images and these impressions. How was that something that how do you come into doing it? Because as I said, that's a very unique way of, because you could just sit and take a picture of a bowl of fruit, but it's a very unique way of doing the lighting. How did you come about to do that?
Well, let me show you. Let me tell you just a couple of things about the technique itself, just to start to understand how I'm doing this. So the whole process, I'm photographing in a complete darkness. So in my studio, it's like completely dark.
Wow.
And I'm using just one source of light, like a small torch, so to illuminate every single piece of the object. And later, I'm combining these layers on Photoshop. So that's kind of
images.
Yes, that's in the end of the day, it's like, let's say 10 images, for example, photographed on a long exposure. Like one exposure can take me up to like half a minute or even more. And later I'm combining them layer by layer. So in the end result is what you actually seen on the website.
Yeah.
They are. He's just sitting there in the darkness, almost like painting with a piece of light, drawing tiny little lines and details with it, and then, like you said, combines it all together later on.
Yeah, because for me it's really close to the paintings I used to do in the past. So instead of the brush, I'm using the torch. Actually, that's
fascinating. They are really beautiful, really beautiful. So how did it first become? How did you first start setting this up as a business? Did you sell prints in person? Did you start off online, or how did that side of it work?
I think. So as Vadim said, originally he started around forming ideas around 2005, but then 2009 he started commissioning works, like photographing other people's things or product photography, things like that. But it was never at the fine art level at this stage. It was only maybe a couple of years ago when
around 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, when he started investing his full time into the actual light painting technique itself, like developing the technique, the style, the ideas behind it. And even now, he introduced even new twists into this whole thing, because he spends another extra bulk of time in before he even starts to do a bit of a DIY on the composition itself to put things together. It's like that flower that you can see at the back that is just completely handmade, pretty much. So there's a bit of that, and I think then a bit later I joined him and we launched the website, started investing in marketing, things like that, and yeah, that's pretty much where we took off.
So yeah, at the beginning I was doing it just by myself, but to be honest, it's no chances to do it just by yourself. It's like one-man band, you know. You don't really have the skills to run every single aspect of the business just by yourself. So, and Zhanelya, she's from my opinion, she's brilliant in giving infrastructure to the business. So I'm kind of creating, and she's giving the infrastructure.
So did you have any background knowledge? Had you sort of run a business yourself before, or were you sort of learning as you went as well?
I think yes and no, because we had another business smaller than that, but just to learn how to manage the business, financial side of it, marketing, etc. But other than that small experience, no, not really. I think we were just learning on the journey. Just looking at what other people are doing, analyzing competition, platforms that are offering limited edition prints for sale, like doing price comparisons, things like that. So yeah, I think it was ups and downs, just learning on the way.
Yeah. And so who was it responsible? Did you build the website yourself, or did you sort of get somebody else in to do that side of it for you?
Yeah, we built the website by ourselves, actually. At the beginning, we used a platform called Wix. So as I said, I like a one-man band, so I was doing the website as well, just by myself, and trying to do my best, looking what other people is doing. So I try to implement these kind of small features on the website. But later, Zhanelya found other platform which is much more better from our opinion, actually, and we kind of switch everything to that platform.
Yeah. What's you on now? Sorry.
It's Shopify.
Shopify, yes, yeah.
Because originally, like Vadim said, he started off on Wix. It is a beautiful platform, but it was more like a gallery website rather than a proper selling kind of engine. Plus, it's not overly SEO friendly as well, so it was not appearing a lot in Google search and things like that. And it was a bit, when we started working together, it was a bit challenging to integrate it with the printing company that we're working with, so that it just automates the whole process. When a person orders, it just gets passed on to that printing company. They print and ship it straight away, just dispatch the order. And lots of other integrations as well, be it social media or MailChimp and newsletter things, like lots of other things that we couldn't find an easy way to work with Wix. And even the shop itself, it was not as straightforward to set it up there. Well, it was possible, but not as easy, I'd say.
Well, Shopify is certainly, it's very straightforward to do it once you get it.
The platform is, it builds to as a shop, actually. So that's the main goal and main idea of Shopify. That's why we switched to that.
Yeah. So when it comes to sort of marketing and putting yourself out there, how has that worked, and what kind of things do you do to actually tell people about your artworks?
I think it's a lot of different things. Before everything closed down, we had a couple of physical exhibitions where we just went and met people face to face. I think Vadim was really great with that, just telling about the technique, and it's a bit easier when you're here and there, showing that's the artwork, that's what I did with it, etc. When everything went working from home, pretty much, we moved on to more like online techniques. I think some of the best working ones so far were Facebook lead generation ads, and then that just collects a bulk of emails for us, and we then do regular newsletter in MailChimp. So that is probably one of the best one. Instagram, we got some sales from there, hashtag strategy, things like that. Lately, it's been a bit more challenging with algorithm changes, but hey ho.
Yeah, lots of changes.
Especially last month, we are doing really hard right now. I mean, they're changing the algorithm, and literally they didn't know what they're changing, how we need to act, what is the new rules, and what we need to do, and so on, so on. So it's really hard when you're trying just by yourself, and you're doing the same as you've been doing before, and the result is completely different. I mean, previously you had like let's say 1,000 likes and 100 comments, but you are doing the same right now, and it is like 5 views and 1 like. So without any kind of
difference really, and it's a bit up and down as well, because you may post one week and it gets such a massive exposure, but then you post a similar thing next week, but it is just seen by no one. Not because people don't like it, because those who do actually get reached, they engage quite a lot with the posts, but still, it's a bit unpredictable, I feel. I guess that's one of the reasons why we moved a bit more into the ad strategy and getting the email list built up, because at least this is the true asset rather than relying on algorithm changes in the long run. I think what else was there? As part of the newsletter, we've been doing the regular blog posts. So there were a couple of people here and there coming a week from Google search. And also in terms of the other people helping out to bring our message out there, we've been working with 5 different galleries, and all of them have their own websites and do a shout out. So that's our artist that we started working with, etc.
And I guess obviously then in future you'll be able to work with those galleries when everything opens back up again. I guess you'll then be able to do proper
that's the plan.
I bet you can't wait. Actually go out and see people and actually talk to them and show them exactly what you can do. So I guess, so how are you changing? You know, you say you're kind of embracing the ad strategy. Is that what you're doing to actually try and change it? You literally just sort of resigned to saying, well, we'll have to start doing, I presume, Facebook and Instagram ads. And is that working better for you, or have you not had a chance to test it yet?
At the beginning, when this lockdown happens, so we kind of start looking for other kind of strategies and the ways how we can reach out to people. So we tried the Google ads, but in the same time, I think it works really good. And even after the lockdown will be finished, we will continue with this for sure.
Yeah. So are you still doing
Facebook ads?
Facebook ads.
Oh, Facebook ads. Yeah. Well, it's if you can get your targeting right and you can get in front of the right people, your product. I mean, you're in quite a unique position in the fact that your product speaks for itself, and if somebody sees that and they're attracted to it, then you're a long way to doing the job of selling it to them, aren't you? Because as I said, I keep saying it, they're so unique. It's just I've never. But I have seen similar things, but they are paintings, as you know, sort of old. I think my mum's got a couple of still life paintings, and they're a similar kind of feeling. They're not a style, but they've got that feeling, and they're very, very good. So with your emails, then obviously I think it's a really good sort of tactic, as you say, to worry about or to concentrate on building up your email list so that you've actually got a group of people to market to. What kind of things do you do? Do you just send them a weekly newsletter, or
Yeah, I think
how does that
it
work?
depends. Yeah, so technically, with the email list, as I said, it feels much more reliable than like having a following on Instagram or Facebook, because following, it's there, but algorithm changes, then that it
Yeah.
goes out of the window and you have to
Yeah.
adapt again. With the email list, I think art in general, what we noticed is you can't really do a cold sale as such. You need to build that trust, that feeling, that
Relationship,
knowing of the artist, of the background, of the technique, etc. Because yeah, like you said, many people just look at you thinking, oh, that's just another painting. But when you have them in your email list and nurture that relationship week after week, sending email newsletters about the technique, about what kind of ideas go into each artwork, how each composition was made, like that flower, for example, or any other things, like behind the scenes videos of how Vadim puts it all together. We are still to figure out how to film the in the darkness bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we
I can see
hopefully
how
we'll get
that's
there.
tricky. I guess, I don't know, that's a really good question, actually. I suppose you photograph it in the light, but like say, well, this is how we do it, but obviously, yeah, that's...
You cannot see anything, actually, just a beam of light, the small one, is just moving. So, yeah, so you cannot really get the idea what is happening on the video, because it's just a couple of centimeters of light just moving. And so right now we are trying to figure out how we can maybe implement new, I don't know, new maybe camera with the night vision or something like that, just to show the process, actually the real process, how it happening.
Yeah, because at the moment it's more of a we've got the filming of the backstage videos and things like that just before it actually starts, and then after, when it's put together in Photoshop or any other post-processing program. But the actual magic that's happening behind the scenes, that's just hidden in the dark room.
Yeah, that's very tricky, but I'm sure you'll overcome it. I'm sure there will be somebody that will know exactly what to do. So you're obviously quite happy to share all your secrets and the way that you actually produce these. Have you ever thought about actually kind of teaching people and turning that into a course that you can actually sell to show people how to do this, or would you not be interested in that?
To be honest, that's the other thing which we are kind of thinking right now about this. So because I had really a lot of questions about like how you are doing this, how I can reproduce the same as you are doing. And so people were asking, even on Instagram, it's really interesting when some people who was doing let's say the portraits, for example, they start following us, and in a couple of weeks I can see what they're trying, doing the light painting and uploading the photos on their feed. So it's really, really nice to inspire others. And yes, we are planning to do the course in the future.
Yeah,
just to give the magic of light painting actually to other people.
It is I mean, I'm not a photographer, so I mean, would I have come across it if I were a photographer, or is it do most photographers know this technique exists, or are you really kind of, how many people do this already?
It's really, really tricky to answer, to be honest, because every photographer, if they call themselves as a photographer, they know what is long exposure.
Yeah.
But rarely anyone using these long exposures to produce the still lives, especially in studio. Normally, people are using long exposures, for example, to photograph. I think you've seen these kind of photos on motorways, for example, when you are doing these trials with the lights and stuff, or for example, when you're using your torch in front of the camera and just writing let's say your name or something else.
Yeah.
But as I said, rarely people think in a way to use the light to illuminate some other objects and photograph it as using the long exposure actually. So I know a couple of people who is really into it. I mean, they're really like gurus and dinosaurs, I would say.
There's like one guy in America somewhere who is just a master of it, and he's teaching people as well. But other than his students, that there's hardly anyone else doing it. Well, at least we didn't see much people doing it really. Especially
on an art market. Not really. I haven't seen any like I would say strong ones who is selling as an artist their artworks.
Yeah. It's I think it's
so even if you're answering your question, even if you are not photographer, I think it is possible to understand the technique and at least try it. And if you are happy with the result, or if you really want to invest time and go really dive really deeper, so I think the sky is the limit. Sure.
Yeah. As far as people who actually buy your prints, do you have any particular type of person that tends to buy them? I mean, do you, or is it a huge range of kind of backgrounds? And
I think it's quite different, I'd say. I think most of the people, it would be those who know how to appreciate art, who value these sort of things like limited editioning, or the artwork coming with a certificate, or the fact that it's hand-signed and things like that. And that those who know the value behind the publications, the exhibitions that the art person is exposed to as part of his career. So that is probably the majority of those who are ready actually to pay that price for the art. There are, of course, other people as well, like those who just like the look of it, or they appreciate the amount of time and effort that went into this technique. And it's all sorts of various backgrounds. We had one guy who is selling like custom jewelry, another woman, she's an NLP practitioner actually. So it's all sorts of people really.
Yeah. So what do you find as far as running it as a business? What do you find the hardest part of actually the business side of things, do you think?
I think we're just missing people really. We're missing those art fairs, massive events. I think art is kind of stepping into online world, but it doesn't feel as strong as other industries as such, because people still want to physically be there and see the art, touch it, feel it. That was probably one of the challenges.
For now, yes, that's the major challenge, I would say. I think it's not just for art businesses. A lot of businesses are kind of, let's say, struggle with this. So, but that's our main challenge.
Well, hopefully it won't be too long before that side of it starts to open up again for you. But do you sell to the UK, or is it global? Do you have customers overseas as well?
Global.
It's global. Yeah. We sold one to was it Miami?
Miami, yeah. One guy from Miami. He's a collector. He's collecting the watches, really expensive ones. So, and he just liked it by the fact that it was somehow resonating with his childhood, the photo itself, and he just straight away ordered with no questions, like please send, and and just hang it on a wall in front of him.
I mean, he did ask a couple of questions. Will it be signed? How does it work with editioning internationally? Will it still keep the same numbering, etc.? But he was ready to pay whatever we were asking for it, and it was mainly, I think, you're right, the connection with his childhood stories that he had. Some of it was though. I think he said something along the lines that the still life that Vadim does, it's usually quite difficult to do something original and not like everyone else is doing with it, in photography especially. So that is what drew him to this particular piece.
And do you have any challenges with shipping a product like this? Because I presume, is it printed on a canvas, or I know nothing.
Actually, we are using the archival paper called Canson Barita gloss. So that's and we are using the pigment ink, which can last up to 100 years actually. So that's the level of the quality. And we have two options actually for selling or for sending the photos. It is one of the options is flat pack. So you are just receiving an hard envelope, and the other one is on a tube.
Yeah.
So you just roll the photo. But all these questions is going to our printing company.
Yeah.
So they're doing all fulfillments without any like bothering us with this. So we know the quality. And
nice for you, yeah. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been amazing. This company is really good. It's called Creative Hub or the Print Space, and as Vadim said, the quality of paper is outstanding. The quality of the ink, the way they package it, certification and everything is just handled by them, and they're so good that even Guardian uses that company to print their prints for sale. So yeah, it's just amazing. I think that just takes away that hustle of printing yourself, retrying again. Oh, there was a piece of ink that spilled over, or tiny little things like that, or dealing with returns in terms of, oh, the paper has actually bent in transit. So all of these things, you can just forget about it.
Well, it's you need that peace of mind, don't you? So yeah, you focus on what you want to do, which is being creative. So so yeah, we've all, I think most business owners have kind of made mistakes. Are there any things that you've done that you look back and think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I'd done that differently in your journey? Or
you have any in the mind?
I might have a couple. It was not like massive mistakes really. I think when we just started out pricing our work and preparing the work for sale, we just went with our kind of gut feeling, or maybe that is what works, without doing any actual competitors research. What is it that the market actually expects from this sort of things? Limited editioning, how does that work?
yeah.
So technically, some of the pieces we ended up having quite a lot of numbers in it. Like I think one has around 30. So for
the edition.
Yeah, so for a limited edition, it doesn't feel as limited anymore.
Yeah.
But even then, we've learned our lesson and researched our competition and what the market is expecting from this, and grew from there. So it was not a massive mistake that is not possible to correct really, because at the end of the day, it all goes back to how you price it. Because if it is not as limited as other pieces, for example, it just is a bit of a cheaper range, a bit more accessible for other collectors who want a bit of an entry level, rather than, oh, I want this one of the three kind of works.
Because you say, I was going to ask you, how many do you do as a limited edition? So is it mentioned one of three? Is that?
Yeah, right now we have two sizes. Actually, the biggest one is 80 centimeters on the long side, which is the edition of 3, and the other one is 1 out of 7. The edition itself is 7 actually, the medium one.
So overall it makes it 10. Some of it we may issue even less than that, but it all depends on the artwork, I guess. Most of it we're now trying not to go beyond 15, 20 tops, just to make it a bit more special, rather than everyone can have it.
No, that's I totally understand that. So where do you see yourselves? Sort of, what's your dream, your goal to be in, say 5 or 10 years time? What are you hoping? Where are you hoping to be with the business by then?
Yeah, one of the things you already mentioned that is the course actually.
Yeah.
So right now I'm really thinking and planning what to do about the course itself, because I really like to teach people, and you know, especially at the moments when they learn and understand something like this, wow, now I know this. So it's really giving me the power, I would say, to really continue spread my knowledge with others. That's one thing. And in 10 years, it's really hard to answer right now, to be honest, about 10 years. Yeah, I mean, for sure, I would really want to show my artworks in a different galleries worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan, actually.
Yeah, and probably a bit go into a bit more well-known places as well, because at the moment the work is already shown all over the world. In Africa, I think we've had one in Rome, and it's both physical and online exhibitions as well, but it's still having it, I don't know, in a famous museum. That would be nice to have in 5 or 10 years, or however many years.
Well, I'm sure it will happen, because they're just amazing. When I'm looking at them and zooming in, I just like, they blow my mind how wonderful these photographs are. To say it's a photograph just doesn't seem to do it justice, you know. So it's not a photograph, it's art, isn't it? So there we go. But I mean, I wish you every success, and I really do hope, I hope to sort of see when your course is done. I hope that is a great success. I'm sure it will be, because as you say, there are so many people wanting to understand how you do this. And I wish you every success with the business and with your continued creativity. And yeah, if people want to reach out to you or get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
It is the website is www.photoportrayal.com, or Instagram is @photoportrayal_.
Okay, well, I'll link to those. I'll link to those in the show notes so people can go there.
Yeah.
As well. And
we're on Facebook as well, and Pinterest as Photoportrayal.
Wonderful, that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been absolutely fascinating. I can't believe how much I'm learning about lots of different products and different subjects doing this. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thanks.
Thanks.